Hey, what is up YouTube? My name is Kaustubh. You are watching Technobuff channel, and in today's video I am going to share my experience of using the Mi A3 that I have been using for a while. So without wasting much time, let's get straight into the video, but first let's roll the intro. So this is the phone that I have been using for a few months now, and this is the Mi A3 smartphone. Let's talk about phone's design and build quality first. When you first want to buy some smartphone, what do you look into first is the form factor. And to be frank, this is the thinnest and lightest phone in the 15,000 rupee segment, and I was looking for a phone that is compact and easy to hold, and you can type with one hand. And this is the right phone for those who are looking for such kind of phone. This phone comes up with 6-inch display, and nowadays you don't see a phone with 6-inch display. Nowadays in budget segment also you get 6.5-inch HD plus display. Talking about the display, this phone comes up with a HD plus display, but hit here is it is AMOLED display. Now there was a lot of debate going on social media about this display, and I was using full HD plus display phone, which was Redmi Note 5 Pro. So it was a downgrade for me to shift from a full HD plus IPS LCD display to a HD plus display, but this is a AMOLED display and I could see the clear difference. The color reproduction on this one is really nice. The blacks that this display produces are really nice, and it was not kind of downgrade for me. I was very much satisfied with the kind of display that Xiaomi has provided on this one. Now this phone also has this in-display fingerprint scanner, and also has always on displays feature. So this fingerprint, talking about the security, this in-display fingerprint scanner is not that good if you compare it with Realme XT or OnePlus 6, etc. So if you ask me how many times does it open out of 5 times, I would say 3 times, because every time if you place slightly wrong way also, it doesn't open. See, now it opened. So this is kind of hit and a miss, and I would say Xiaomi should have provided a better fingerprint scanner. If it was a side mounted also, it would have been good, but that's what it is. Now talking about the upgrade from Mi A2 is that return of headphone jack, and you see the hybrid SIM slot here, not the 2 nano SIM card slot. So either you can put in 2 SIM card or 1 SIM card and a micro SD card. Also we see type C port here, and 1 speaker and 2 noise cancellation microphone. Also we have IR brusher in this one. So as you know, Mi A series won't be continued by Xiaomi anymore. So this is the last phone from Mi A series, and this is the news so far. And I thought, why not review the last Mi A series smartphone. So talking about continuing on the design of this smartphone, we get a beautiful rainbow effect on this one. As you guys can see, whenever the light falls on this one, we get a beautiful rainbow color on this one, effect on this one. And I chose the white color because that effect is seen more effectively on the white color one. On the back you get 3 cameras, that is 48 plus 8 plus 2, and I will talk about the camera part later on. We get a branding on the bottom of this panel, and this is a glass panel, guys. So that is a good thing that Xiaomi provides with the mid-range segment also. On the front we have 32 megapixel camera for selfies. We'll also talk about it in a minute. That's about the design and build quality. Next we'll talk about the battery, and Talking about the battery, it has 4030 mAh of battery on this one, and it supports 18 watt fast charging. But sadly, company doesn't provide fast charger inside the box. You will have to buy it separately. Thankfully, I had the Motorola's old fast charger, that is 15 watt, but it supports 18 watt fast charging. Now talking about the battery life, as it is a stock Android phone, I expected a lot from this one, but sadly the optimization, software optimization, OTA optimization is not done well by Xiaomi. Whenever I'm outdoors, whenever I'm in a network, I see that there is a lot of battery drop in the phone, and that kind of disappoints me, considering this as a stock Android phone, for which I bought this phone, because stock Android gives you that a clean look, and there is no junk or garbage inside this phone. So considering that, this kind of disappoints me, that battery optimization could have been better, but we get roughly around 5 to 6 hours of screen on time on this one. So that's about it. That's about the battery. And next thing I want to talk about is the camera, and we get 48 megapixel is the primary sensor on this one, then that 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, and 2 megapixel is the depth sensor. On the front we get 32 megapixel camera. Selfies are not that good on the stock camera app, so I would recommend you to use Google Camera APK, because from last year we see that companies are enabling camera to API right out of the box. So just you have to download the Google Camera APK from any YouTuber videos. You can get it from there, or you can go to XDA developer site and you can download it from there. You don't have to unlock your bootloader or flash any files for it. So that is a good thing. And Google Camera has impressed me a lot, because switching from Redmi Note 5 Pro, this has a major upgrade on this one. The ultra wide angles camera support is not there in Google APK. I hope that XDA developers come up with that feature in the Google Camera APK. But the camera is amazing on this one, guys. And talking about the ultra wide, the stock camera app you have to use, because there is no support for ultra wide in the Google Camera, and it does the job pretty decent, I would say. And then there is a depth camera. So that's about the cameras. And selfies also quite good on the Google Camera APK. Nothing great about the stock camera app. And the last thing I want to talk about is the processor. Now this comes up with the Snapdragon 665 SoC, and Snapdragon processors does a really good job, and this is an upgrade over Snapdragon 660, which was 14 nanometer, based on 14 nanometer technology, and this is based on 11 nanometer technology. The lesser the number is, the phone is more power efficient, it consumes less battery, and the battery is good enough. As I said, a little bit of optimization is needed, and Snapdragon 665 handles day-to-day tasks very easily, but that I felt bad is about the switching between apps or doing multitasking on this one. This is not a gaming centric phone, and if your priority is gaming, then do not go for this one. Of course, it is more than 1 year now. You would not go for this phone unless a die-hard Mi A series fan. But this is not a gaming phone. The point is, this is not a gaming phone, and only thing good about it is the stock Android and the cameras. Now if you consider the whole package, stock Android plus good cameras plus lightweight and easy to hold, you can use it with one hand if your hands are small or average size also, and you can easily type on this one, and it gives you a premium look on the phone, for the phone. So if you consider all these things, I would say this is a very good phone. Talking about the day-to-day performance, I didn't find any lag. Also, I want to highlight one of the cons of this one, because it has only 363 nits brightness on this one. So if you are a kind of outdoor person, don't purchase this phone, because 363 even on the brightest of the day, this screen doesn't go that bright. I have to manually go and check if it is bright or no. So that is the con that I found on this one. And sometimes the auto brightness didn't work very well. So guys, that's pretty much it in this video. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Also subscribe to my channel because it is free. I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, it's goodbye from TechnoBuff. Take care.